Welcome to SB 405D Project Management. My name is Felicia Friedide and I'll be taking you through this unit. And this is Unit 4 Project Human Resource and Communication Management. Our discussion today is going to focus on Session 4 Project Communication Management. By the end of this session, you should be able to really explain project communication management, outline the components of project communication management, give at least three importance and three challenges of communication management on the project. So let's dive into the issues. We want to begin by looking at project communication. We're saying that communication basically deals with what? The flow of information through a media which necessitates feedback. Yeah, so when you're communicating, the goal is that there's something I want to send across to you. I'm going to use a medium or a media to get it to you. And when it gets to you, I'm expecting you to give me some sort of feedback or confirmation as to whether you understand, you don't understand, there is concern or there's no concern. It's prudent for you to give some sort of feedback as well. So many project managers have executed the technical work to perfection only to find out that stakeholders were not satisfied because communication was poor. So project communication is sometimes more important than the technical work. If you don't take care, you finish doing the technical work, everything has been done. But then the project stakeholders will be like, you didn't really do the thing well. We don't even know what you've done. We didn't tell us about things, blah blah. And before you realize, it's like you've done nothing at all. So it's very important to check your project communication from the word go. And so communication model helps the project manager to really plan how messages or information should be framed depending on their content and the appropriate measure to facilitate the progress of the project. There are some things you can do by word of mouth. Some things are supposed to be in writing. Some things even have to be one-on-one, personal. There are some things you don't even go with a text message or anything. You have to write it in a letter or something. And so these are all depending on what you want to send and the context and the content. It depends on the model in which you're going to use or the channel you're going to use. So when it comes to the communication process, it starts with a sender. So there's someone who has something in mind and wants to send it across. The sender is going to encode, put this message into, whether it's into writing, whether it's to organize it or put it in a way which can easily be understood by the end user. And then once he's able to encode it, he actually has to transmit that message. If you have that message in your head or that thing in your head and you don't transmit, how will the other person know about it? And so you need to transmit it. And if you're going to transmit, it has to be through a means. So are you going to do it through a letter, through a phone call, through a fax, through an email? You need to transmit it through a channel. Then the receiver is going to be the person you want to get it. Maybe this is A. So A is a sender. The receiver is B. The receiver is B. So B is then going to be able to decode it, be able to read into it and say that, oh, okay, so this is what you really meant. This is what you also felt. Oh, okay. Then they are going to acknowledge it by giving you some sort of feedback or response. So it's actually rude and wrong for you to receive a message and not give feedback. There are some people, you're on the team platform and they send message and you've not acknowledged receipt of it or anything. It is wrong. At least, especially on WhatsApp pages for virtual teams and things, it's good to give some sort of feedback, whether it's using your hand gestures or whether writing or notifying the person behind. It's very important. Even with emails, some project team members don't like to reply and give feedback, which is not the best. So the communication model, we have the sender who encodes the message and he transforms it through a medium to the receiver who is going to decode that message and is going to acknowledge the message received by giving some sort of feedback or response. Now, there's a need for us to actually plan our communication. That is very important. It's also important to manage the project communication, and it's also important to control the project communication. So the project communication management actually encompasses these three things. These are the three things that looks at or is composed under the project communication management. So, what is the importance of project communication management? The importance is that it helps us relay information. Information is very important in projects, and saying that managing communication of a project helps send the appropriate information to the right people using the right means. So, if you're working with laborers and you realize they are not literate or something, if you want to communicate with them, you may have to do it by word of mouth, organize all of them and then talk to them by word of mouth. If you want to even do something written, you may have to use diagrams or something to be able to get to them. So you need to know who that message is supposed to go to and the right means to use to get to that person. Typical Ghanaians don't like reading their mails that much, and you sending someone something very urgent through the mail. When that person is not disciplined with the mail, how will the person receive it? Unless you go and prompt the person that I sent you a mail, so please check your mail. So you need to be careful the media you use for the people you choose. And all project teams have their tasks communicated clearly to them. When good communication skills are employed, it should be clear enough for them to know that Akosia Menu, you are supposed to do A, B, C, D explicitly by this point in time. So when that is clear, they are able to go about it. The project manager with good communication skills ends up with intensifying the effectiveness of everyone he interacts with. So it is also very important for us to look out for these issues when we are doing our project communication management, because they are very, very key in there. So some of the challenges in the project communication management is one, poor communication, which is used as an excuse during periods of adversity and disappointing project development. So sometimes there's poor communication. We're not able to use the right means to reach the right people at the right time, or the message gets there at the wrong time. And sometimes even the way it goes and things is just ineffective. It's not able to reach the target it really wants to get in there as well. And then a major challenge faced with most projects is unclear definition of objectives and the goals of the team members and stakeholders. Usually, there's this unclear, you don't know what you're really doing, and it's not even well articulated to the stakeholders. So the stakeholders are out there, they have their monies, they have their things that are going to affect them. The project is going to affect them and they're going to influence the project. However, they don't have prior knowledge about things happening in there, which is not the best of things. Your stakeholders would have to be abreast with whatever is happening in your project at every point in time. And as the business also becomes more global, language barriers can come in as well, because now we're going into the world is coming a global village, and so you may have teams across the globe. Someone is in Spain, someone is in Ghana, someone is in the UK, someone is in the Netherlands. So someone is speaking Dutch, someone is speaking English, someone is speaking French, someone's mother tongue is something else. And so sometimes language can also become a barrier in there as well. So in this session, we've discussed project communication management and the communication model, communication plan, management and control, with some importance and challenges faced in the communication process as well. Thank you.